We're going mobile, going low carb. Okay, hey everybody. I wonder, it does say I have a good connection. Okay, so that's good. La la la. Thank God I'm not singing. Hey, good afternoon. Destination Decluttered here live from the Destination Decluttered basement. Ms. Crentis, nice to see you. Sue Bell, 121, nice to see you too. Amelia, oh hey, thank you for the roses, and I'm just showing up here. I just thought it would be fun to do a TikTok live from somewhere other than the house, upstairs where you normally see me, and also because this is this is really like me, almost like live casting some decluttering, because as I mentioned, while I am a Destination Decluttered, while I'm a decluttering life coach and I can help other people, I am also a human being who has stuff in her home, in our home, because I live with my husband and we both have stuff that we have collected. And I don't know about you, but some of the stuff that we kind of delay making decisions on ends up in the basement. We make a decision on the top level of the floor, right above here, and we make those decision. I think I might want that. Hey, are you gonna say hi? We have a special guest. Oh, there you go. Miracles of Money. Hey, check it out, everybody. Look who I got here.
Hello.
So, those of you who just tuned in, so that's my husband, and he is such a good egg. Can I share with you?
How good am I?
You are so good because you are going to be actively decluttering in the same room that I am doing my TikTok live. Now, the reason he's doing that is because notice that there are things in your home that you might not be the person, you are not the person who can make a decision on whether it stays or it goes. That snare drum, for example. How many snare drums does one need? I don't know. If you ask my husband, you may need many snare drums. How many guitars do you need? But what I want to offer is that even just showing up and doing the decision making is the most important part. So he has decided. He has been such a cool guy to say, I am. Yes, my love. I will declutter my stuff that I know it's going to look and feel and function better for him down here once he goes through his stuff, but I don't know what his things are, so I can't do it, okay? So I am here for you for the next hour or so in the basement. If you have any basement clutter questions or other questions, I love it. So Miracles and Money is saying, I hired a wonderful cleaner yesterday and it was wonderful. I love that, Miracles and Money. You know what? I actually am going to hire a cleaner for our house today. I sent an email. It's going to be a thing. It probably won't be for a few months yet because we've got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm so looking forward to that because cleaning and decluttering are two different things. Yeah, that's pretty cool. If you want to do something with that, you might set that aside. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm trying not to, but I'm like, I like that thing. Notice. Okay, cool. Never mind. So anyhow, yay, cleaning is different than decluttering. Sue Bell, having a lot of anxiety today and impacting my housework and decluttering. Notice that. Notice how you feel. I was trying to say it with a comma. Notice that how you feel impacts more than you just you feeling, and has that kind of ripple effect out to your housework and decluttering. Sue Bell, I ask you, what are some things I can share with you if you don't know? Do you have some things that you know that when you are feeling anxious, that you can reduce your anxiety? I have a few I can give you right off the bat, which is to concentrate on the physical part of your anxiety. Where do you feel the anxiety? What can you do to flip it around? If it feels tight here, can you release it? Can you feel soft? And do the opposite. If you're feeling paralyzed, can you move around? Can you shake it off? Can you just get it out of your body? Can you move it around? Can you redistribute it and dissipate it? You can take some deep breaths. You can calm down your nervous system and feel better. And when you feel better inside, in your head and in your body, you're going to do better. Okay, so Sue Bell, how about this? Even just for the next minutes while I'm on, practice some ways to decrease your anxiety. If your anxiety is thoughts in your head, get your notebook out, get your workbook out, and write them down. Get your thoughts out of your head onto paper where you can see them, that is a game changer. Yeah, Sue, okay, so how about this? If you think it paralyzes me, say, I am not paralyzed. Put on a song, dance around. I always think of Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. That is such a, it is such a good message, and it is such a groove. So move your body and remind yourself that even though part of you feels like the fight or flight or freeze thing, you can move your body. There we go. Erica from DC. Oh, nice to see you. I look forward to seeing you in December. I love it. The cleaner forced me to declutter. Yes, cleaners can help you declutter because they want to clean. They want to make it worth your money when you pay for a cleaner, and stuff like that there. It's so funny because somebody's supposed to be decluttering and somebody just went upstairs, but I'm going to trust. Look at me. I'm going to trust that my husband, who promised he would declutter, will declutter while I'm doing this TikTok live. So you're seeing how it can be a little bit of a dance between when you're decluttering with other people. This is why I say it's so good to focus on your own decluttering. It is so good to focus on you and what is important to you. What are the things that bug you and what are the things that don't? And see, I was so relieved when he just came back downstairs after going upstairs.
I liberated a big, huge basement spider.
Oh, he was liberating spiders. Okay. Yes, he's relocating. No, he's such a good egg. He was moving a spider. So anyhow, okay. Isn't it funny, Sue? Yeah, not being able to pay attention to an anxiety guided meditation. You know what? Here's the situation, everybody. Even me as a decluttering life coach, I have tools I can hand to you. Say, will this work? I don't know. You try it, you see if it works. If it doesn't, don't judge yourself, just try another one. I find what really helps me is to get my body moving, to get some oxygen in me, to get out of my head and just a little bit more in the world to kind of see where this stuff affects you. Okay? I love this. Christiana Long is saying, I cleaned the kitchen cabinets out last night. So much more space and a little heart. That is so good. Now, here's the thing. When you're watching me right now, so I'm live on TikTok right now, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. If we haven't met, I kind of forgot because this is a different situation. This isn't normally where I declutter or I do my coaching from, but I just thought it would be fun because I know people struggle with clutter in their basements. So I'm in my basement myself looking at my own stuff that I have struggled with, and I still have, I'm not perfect. I've got stuff I need to figure out about, but man, is it so much less than it used to be. My name is Beth, Destination Decluttered. I am a decluttering life coach, and I'm here for you. I show up and do TikTok lives. I have a mailing list if you want to hop onto that. I also do one-on-one coaching, and I freaking love it. It is the fastest way to get you from where you are to where you want to go, and I'm like your co-pilot the whole time. Okay, so that's who I am. I'm here for the next 52 minutes or so to help you declutter. I am also here. You can't see him. He introduced himself earlier. You don't have to get on now, hon. But I wanna just mention, so if you hear some things in the background, I'm in my basement, and my husband and I share the basement space. I have my office and studio. He has his office and studio. Literally, they're just extra bedrooms in our house, and this is a space where our things come together. He's got his space. I've got my space. And yet here's where ours combine. He has been cool enough from when I said, hey, I want to try this. I want to see if I'm doing Destination Decluttered TikTok live from the basement, could you come down and declutter while I'm here? Now, I know that I'm kind of talking to you and stuff, but here is a concept that we're trying out, which is one that really helps folks with ADHD, is called body doubling. It's when you just are even just in the room with somebody, to have that helps them to focus, to realize you're not alone. Now, I can't make the decisions that he's making right there, but hopefully that me being here is just going to help him concentrate on the stuff. He's like, yeah, right. He's concentrating on the stuff that he knows that at the end of this hour, this space is going to look so much better to me and to him. It's going to feel so much better to me, and it's going to function so much better, not just to me, but to him, because I know there's some projects he wants to do in this basement that when he does this, it's going to look and feel so much better, and it's going to be able to function in a way that he wants to set up and do the things that he wants to do. Okay? So just notice that. Just Ducky is saying, I'm at work. We'll eat lunch, then work on decluttering my office. Hey, there's an idea. Yeah, offices, no matter where you're at work, at an office, where you work, or your office is in your home, there's clutter. The way you declutter one space is the way you declutter every space. So if you have something that you're struggling with, clutter-wise, hit me with it. Put it in the comments. I will read it out. The reason I read it is I actually download all my TikTok lives and upload them to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. And that's so if people like, for example, Just Ducky said, I'm at lunch and you might be able to not hang out the whole time to watch it. No worries. Is that they're available for you to put on in the background, maybe as you're decluttering your own basement, something like that. Also, I just noticed a number of follows there. Thank you so much for the follows. If you haven't seen my page before, I often do TikTok lives. And typically they're in the morning, East Coast time. But I have learned that I have, fans and followers and clients across the country. So once a week I try to show up in the afternoon, and once a week I show up in the evening, more for the West Coast and even people in Hawaii and who knows, around the world. This week, I'm not showing up as an evening TikTok because I have a Destination Decluttered Zoom call that I'm doing, a free Zoom call. If you want to get, I know I'm going to sound salesy, but so I'll just be obvious about that. But I'm just encouraging you, if you're interested in a group Zoom call where we kind of do the same thing here. It's like, what's getting you stuck with clutter? I can help you. And it's just a lot more fun and easier to talk back and forth versus you type and I try to read. That only happens with the people at the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. It's a free thing I do. All I do is send out good stuff. And basically you get first dibs on any of the good stuff that I create. You get first dibs on knowing when my TikTok lives are. You get first dibs on coaching consultations because I do a consultation for everybody. If you want to become a client of mine and have me be your coach and work one-on-one together and really just help you declutter your home, declutter your life, figure out what's working for you. If you want me as your co-pilot, as your sidekick on your team, that is coaching. That starts with a consultation, a free consultation to see if we're a good fit. And the way you do that is on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. And let me add this too. I thought about this the other day on my morning walk. Is when you sign up for the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, there is a little box that says, I am not a robot. Now, I love that because not only does it decrease the amount of spam I would get from people, however, it is also true. I do not coach robots. I do not want you to act like a robot when you are decluttering. I want you to embrace your humanity. I want you to embrace the fact that your energy is going to be different from day to day. Your time is going to be different from day to day. Your motivation, your inspiration, all those things, vacillate from day to day. So I don't, what is it? I don't teach monkeys. I don't own monkeys. I just train them, something like that. I'm sorry, PW, Pee Wee Herman. I'm going to work on that one. But what I say is that I want you to realize that it's okay to be a human. You got decluttered. You got cluttered because you're a human. You can also get decluttered being a human. And that reminds you to remember to hold on to the things that mean something to you and be okay with releasing the things that don't. Okay? There we go. All right, Christina says we're doing a kitchen renovation. Awesome. Almost done. Next, I would like to do our basement. You know what you do? Notice that. Any of these things, you get an idea in your head. It all starts up here. The good, the bad, everything starts up here. But if it stays up there, it does no good. You got to get it out of your head and somewhere where you can make things happen. I bet when you were doing a kitchen renovation, you had a picture in your mind as to what you wanted the kitchen to look like, and then you took the steps to make the kitchen renovation happen. It's the same thing with decluttering. Picturing the space, not how it looks now, but how you want it to look in the future. That's, I bet, what my husband's going to do right now when he's like, maybe somebody will play drums down here. And so it's like, okay, what would I need to get? What belongs here? What doesn't belong here? All those things. So yay. All right, Katie the Chicken Lady is saying grandmother's china from the 1940s or 50s. Okay, so Katie, obviously, I'm thinking that you're saying that you don't want your grandma's china from the 1940s or 50s. Notice how it feels to not want something, to be like, or whatever. It probably gives you a feeling. I want to absolve anybody of the guilt of hanging on to something you don't want to. Pay attention to how it feels. If you don't want it, that's okay. It was important to your grandmother. It doesn't have to be important to you. It doesn't mean you didn't love or you don't love your grandmother. What I want to suggest, though, is if you're looking for different ways to get that out of your life and possibly into somebody else's, is a couple of things. One is see what people are paying for that china, if anything. Notice that. Get onto Etsy. You can go onto Replacements Limited, but they will give you the retail price versus what they will pay you. But you can even just take the pulse of, is the pattern you have something that other people are interested and willing to buy? The other thing, too, is this is really interesting to me. So I, right now, am in Pennsylvania, and I originally from the Northeast. So, and my husband is saying he just found some pop rocks. See the interesting random things you find when you are decluttering? I think these are not vintage.
No.
It has an 800 number on it. I don't even want to see when it... You never know. This is live TV, people. Here's an interesting thing. I know I've seen something here on TikTok where women from the South say, we love your grandma dishes. So depending upon where you live, the stuff you have may be more popular than other places. I know, for example, where I live and where my sister lives and in different places that around this area, Pyrex and Corningware and those types of things are big. So there are places that may welcome the things that you just don't want anymore. So do some research and find a place that feels good to you, that makes you feel good if you want to sell it, if you want to donate it, if you want to auction it off, if you want to give it away for free. Notice that. Okay? Christina says, a hoarder owned the house before us. The basement is full of old jars of food and you need motivation. Okay, here's a cool thing. Is old food. I don't know about you, kind of grosses me out. Now, they could have canned it. I don't know. See if it expired. Expired food is something that it's so much easier to declutter because you know if you eat it, you might get sick. So the motivation, Christina, I would say, would be getting rid of the stuff that doesn't do it for you. The stuff that makes you go, ugh. You know, like that would be so easy for me to get, nope, don't want it. And what I would say to you is also picture what you want your basement to look like. Even if it's just, I want it to be empty. I don't want to have a lot of stuff that I need to deal with. I got to share with you guys. The more stuff you have, the more stuff you have to deal with. You got to organize it. You got to keep it clean. You got to, know where it is. The fewer things you have, it's just easier. And boy, I wish I had shut off my notifications, but it's all good. All right, what else do we have here? Michelle is saying, everything I touch is a memory or energy attached to it, and it's so hard for me to get rid of stuff. Michelle, I totally get where you're coming from. Trust me, I am sentimental like nobody's business. But notice the words you're using, and just notice. Notice the word everything. Everything is an overwhelmed word, I like to say. Everything, I bet, here's how I know. I would bet dollars to donuts. I don't know where that came up. I'm an old school person. I channel these things. That there is something that you can touch that has a memory, that does not have a memory attached to it or energy attached to it somewhere in your home. Do you, I bet there's things. So it isn't everything. It could be, as my Bostonian brain says, a wicked lot of stuff. You could have many things. A large percentage of what I own has energy and memories attached to it. Yes, welcome to being a human. You are not alone. Sentimental items are the things that have stories behind them. They have stories of something that did happen in the past or you wanted to happen that hasn't happened yet. How's that? Like my husband right now, he's decluttering and he's looking at some gear and he's deciding what to do. He knows the story of where it came from. He knows how it got here and he knows what he wants to maybe do with it. Because he's moving it in one direction, I think it's going in a certain direction. If he moved it in another one, I would know what he was thinking, but only he can make those decisions. So I offer to you, it's okay to feel the feelings, but ask yourself, is this thing going to lead you to the life that you want, how you want your home to look and feel and function, how you want your life to feel and function? Okay? So notice that. If it's hard for you to notice the stuff that's hard for you to get rid of, set it aside. Maybe you don't want to get rid of it at all. Like all of a sudden, there's this thing going into that side where it's a keyboard. My husband doesn't really play the keyboards, but he's got a story behind that. Because he knows where it came from and he wants to do something with it in the future. Notice that. Just he's sorting. This is stuff I want. Suddenly that one's going back in that one too. You know what? He's going to have a really good album with a lot of this equipment in it. You're going to call it Destination Decluttered, aren't you? But just notice that, okay? Yeah, Thrifty Mama is saying there's a place in North Carolina that buys dishes. I'm thinking it's Replacements Limited. I've known about them for decades because my parents had an old china set and we bought a platter for them through there. And I actually was on a road trip last year where I stopped by their warehouse. It's kind of cool. It's actually kind of neat. I like dishes, or I liked them now. Now I'm I'm not as enamored with them because they're heavy and they break and I just eat off them. But you notice that. Wendy with PD just says, something like China you don't want to your grandchild that might cherish it, or her nephew that might want it more than you do. Yes, of course. Ask other people in your family if they want something that has family memories. But notice, when people don't have memories attached to items, the items just return to what they are originally, which is just plates. They don't have the overlying story of this was my grandmother's and this is all that it means. It ends up just being a plate, and that can actually be very freeing. Because sometimes, and I think Michelle would attest to this, the story behind the item makes it more difficult to make a decision about something even if you didn't know the story. Even that once removed, is it a great-great-great-grandmother who you never met? It's kind of a tenuous connection versus your Grammy who used to hang out in their kitchen all the time. So just notice that. But notice that it's not only your stories that make you struggle with things, it's other people's stories too. You know, Wendy has her story about how she feels about China that, oh, are you sure you want to get rid of that? People we know, friends, neighbors, even my husband, he was walking with this like little case that I had, a snare drum. I think I got it from him in like a thrift store. He was walking in that direction towards like stuff that's going away. And I was like, wait a minute, even me. I'm like, hey, that's kind of a cool thing. Let's do something with that. Just notice that. We all have stories in our heads that make us feel a certain way about our stuff. And when we think and feel a certain way, we tend to do a certain thing. Right. Yeah. And just, Michelle, trust me, I am not busting you when you said I shouldn't have said everything. But just notice the words we use can be powerful. Because as soon as you dissipate to say it's not everything, it's just some things, you've taken the overwhelm of everything into been like, no, it's just some things. It takes the energy out of it. It brings the energy back to a level of energy that feels more like you can handle it. Okay? Notice that. Heather is saying, I am an organizer in Fort Worth, Texas. Hello. I will do half price for those in my area and in your live. All right. Rock it. Anybody who lives in the Fort Worth, Texas area and want Heather to help you, there you go. Wendy is saying websites use the China. Yep. See, okay, so this is interesting. Wendy is saying, use the China that mother had on. My problem is I don't have a China cabinet, so it sits in a box all the rest of the year. That's not necessarily a problem. Not to me anyway. If you only use it once a year, do you really need to have it on display 364 days of the year? The answer can be yes. The answer can be no. The answer is whatever you want it to be. To me, if you use it and using it once a year feels right to you, problem solved. What I help you with is the stuff that you're conflicted about, the stuff that you aren't sure what you want to do with it. I don't know. And, I will clue you into this one, is part of you knows what you want to do with it, but you're afraid to. I bet a lot of this, if you could be given a permission slip to just get rid of anything that you didn't like in your house and you weren't going to get in trouble by somebody, I bet you would be easily able to release all sorts of things. If you didn't feel like I wasted money on that, somebody's going to get mad at me, this was a gift, I feel guilty, all of those things. If your memory was erased and all you saw was stuff and you had no stories behind it, it would be so much easier. Now, that's not going to happen, but just notice the difference between having a story attached to it and not having a story attached to it, right? There we go. I'm falling into the same camp. So Wendy is saying I have one family member that will take it after I die, but I may give it to her before. Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. See, here's a story in my family. I am most likely going to get my mother's china. Thank goodness. I have opened up the gates to allow that to happen because it kind of matches mine. It doesn't really at all, but it's got some, like it's so the antithesis of what I am, but it has a little dots of color that match it, so I know it will look good. It will also remind me of my family. But right now, for example, when I go up home for Thanksgiving, I am going to ask my mother, not that I need all of it right now because I don't entertain in the way people used to, but I do know that when we have people over to my house for dinner, that I would like some dessert plates. So when I go up home for Thanksgiving, and notice what I'm doing, notice this too, I am sharing with you a plan that I have that I want to increase the likelihood that it's going to happen. External accountability, sharing your destinations, sharing what you want to happen with somebody else to increase the likelihood of it's going to happen. Here's my plan. I want to get those dessert plates from my mother. I know she doesn't use them. We typically go to my sister's house on the holidays, and what I'm going to ask my mother, I can even do that probably when I'm done here, is to say, can you bring those over to my sister's house? When we have dessert that day, what I would like, ooh, groovy, what I would like is to have dessert served on those plates, and then I can wash them up and wrap them up and bring them home with me. That would give a double connection. That would give a connection of those being my grandmother's and then my mother's, and then having them at my sister's house, so that when I share them and I have dessert here at my house with my friends, it has a story behind it. I would never buy these dishes myself. They're not my style. They're too expensive. They're too formal. All of these things. But there is a connection there. And because it is kind of a larger family connection, I want to carry that on. But there are very, very, very few items that do that. I will say this too. This is more of kind of the things you have that are more of an heirloom quality, or like comes from the generations. But there was a ton of stuff that we had to clean up my whole grandmother's house when she passed away decades ago. And I remember being in that scarcity mindset, and I collected and I saved a lot of stuff that I thought was cool. And it took me a while to get rid of that stuff. So just notice that. Yeah. Yep. And yeah, it's just interesting to notice. Here's what I say. Isn't it interesting to notice that what causes us to have a cluttered home are the thoughts in our heads and the feelings in our feelings, okay? Hey, Catherine, I see you. Nice to see you. If anybody is just tuning in, oh my gosh, it's already 28. It's only 28 minutes, hon, so we got 32 minutes. Ooh, I know. What I would love for you to do is, my name is Beth, Destination Decluttered. Just remember Destination Decluttered. I'm a decluttering life coach. I do TikTok lives on occasion. They are scheduled, unless I do a pop-up. I do scheduled ones, and if I feel like popping up, I will pop up. The other thing too is that I have an email mailing list you can get onto, destinationdecluttered.com. This Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're having the members only. It cracks me up. It reminds me like the 80s on those jackets. Members only Destination Decluttered Zoom call just for people on the mailing list. If you sign up for the mailing list, you'll get the Zoom invite. It's easy as that. Okay. Interesting. Catherine says, I learned so much this weekend, and it's about examining our thoughts, and wow. Yeah, isn't that a freaking game changer? Isn't it crazy? I clued into this stuff very late in life. I was resistant like nobody's business to any kind of internal reflection, self-help, anything like that, and it showed. But boy, howdy, when I decided to turn that lens inward, and I wasn't really totally afraid of what I saw, it has revolutionized my life. And that's why I show up and do these TikTok lives about helping you declutter, because I know that what's up here can affect what's out there. You know, like I can tell you, I have pictures of this basement when it was chock-a-block full of stuff that I had collected and hadn't dealt with and thought I was going to sell, but I didn't sell. And it took me a while. It will take you a while to get decluttered, but that's okay. When you do it a little bit at a time, okay? And, oh, interesting. Amber Smith, nice to see you. And Ms. Crentis, I'll get to you in just a sec, I promise, because that's good stuff, and maybe this will help you, okay? Ms. Crentis is saying, I've been making steady progress, but feel like I've hit a bit of a wall with decision fatigue. Totally legit. That can happen for a variety of reasons. That can happen because you're physically exhausted, you're mentally exhausted. This is going to happen. Pardon me. You going to do that right now?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, it's getting done.
All right. Yep. Okay.
You good?
One more.
Okay. Anyhow, it's live decluttering right going on behind me. You don't want to see it, but it's happening. Notice when we all will, we hit decision fatigue. Like, for example, we were down here the other day, and there are things that my husband needs to make decisions on, but he is tired. He had a gig. He's, is not at the best. The tank of energy you have to make decisions, it can get filled up and it empties out. Every decision you make decreases the amount of energy you have to make the next decision. Notice that and be okay with it. Cheer on the fact that you've made steady progress. Remind yourself that your decision fatigue is happening, and the opposite of fatigue, the way to counter fatigue is to rest up, is to fill your tank again. You wouldn't expect to drive your car on an empty tank. Don't try to make decisions on an empty tank. I did that yesterday even. I was on a groove, and then I was like, you know what? I am done. And that's when you punch the clock and you just say, I am going to fill up my tank, and it will be so much easier for me to make decisions that align with what I want when I'm not so fatigued. The other thing too, and let me just mention this, since Catherine was talking about energy and thoughts and Ms. Prentice was talking about making steady progress and getting stuck, here's one of the things I firmly believe that I want to encourage you to do not do a one and done process with decluttering. When you do it a little bit at a time, a wave at a time, a layer at a time, what you're doing is you're allowing your nervous system to regulate down to that new level of having that less stuff. If you're used to having 100 items and then you declutter 10%, now you have 90. And then will that feel okay to you? If it does feel okay, maybe then you go back the next time and try another sweep. Maybe you take another 10 items. Then you go to 80. And then you're at level of 80 and you're like, this is okay. This is okay. This feels okay. And I feel like there's other things that can be decluttered. Then you lather, rinse, repeat till you go from that level of too much. Incrementally, you decrease the number of items you have while you expand your nervous system capacity to feel okay with that decreased item. Now, I know that's a little bit life coachy and that's a little bit like in your brain. I say that to also say, it's okay if you do a little bit at a time. That's actually the best way to do it. When you are able to make good decisions, when you're not doing them saying, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to throw it all away. Like you can open up a box and say, oh, look, this is sentimental items. I'm going to put it right here. Just put it right there. We'll organize it later. But notice that. Notice also the differences of items that you have. You have surface, you have sentimental, you have surface, you have stored, and you have sentimental. So maybe when your decision-making capacity isn't so great, you focus on the surface items. What's the trash? What's the recycles? What's the stuff that I look at and I can tidy up, wires and things like that? That stuff I can handle. Right now, I can't figure out what the next steps are to get that thing from A to B, but man, I can tidy up some of these little mundane things. I can put like items together so that when I go to make a decision, all of those items will be in the same area. I can figure out a better way to maybe store some of those items that you have decided that you want, things like that there. Notice that. You may discover, for example, and I'm totally riffing here, but you have, like, for example, a set of shelves that you took apart to bring down with your sister when she was selling Pyrex. I bet those shelves could be assembled again, and maybe you can put some drums and stuff on it. I am just saying. Okay. For those of you who just tuned in, my husband, the dear heart that he is currently decluttering the basement of his items while I am here doing a TikTok live. We're experimenting with this notion of body doubling. He also is a good egg, so he is humoring me with this. But here's the cool thing. He's getting good stuff done on his stuff that when we leave the basement in only 26 minutes, this place is going to look and feel and function better for both of us. So just notice that, okay? Okay. Ditz that yoga. Sorry, I can't. Is saying I'm super good decluttering until I find more stuff to make a project. Okay, notice that. Notice that you have stuff that makes a project. Maybe put that stuff aside and make the project. Not right then, but after you declutter, or maybe you say I'm going to stop decluttering now. Notice the things you're interested in. You are going to be reminded of when you go through your stuff. You're going to see things that you bought or owned in the past that you want to do something with, that you did want to do something with, and right now you still do. Case in point, my husband's looking at some musical equipment, and he's like, oh, I want to use this, I want to use that. You see things. Don't necessarily stop right then to do the project, but remind yourself that that is something that's still valid for you. Okay? Okay. AJ is saying, I keep trying to do one box, one shelf, or one bin at a time. I get overwhelmed trying to decide which one. Okay, notice the overwhelm of decision making. What I want to suggest is overwhelm is over your head. It's above. It goes from your brain up. Usually it ends about right here, but it's kind of overwhelming when it's all up here. If you're overwhelmed with decision making, what I want to suggest is before you even make a decision, ask yourself what you're aiming for. What's your destination? Why are you doing this? And I would offer this to get you started. What do you want that room or space to look like? What do you want it to feel like? And what do you want it to function like? When you do that, what you're automatically creating is a target in your head, a destination in your head, to then compare the items. Does this item fit with the vision of my future that I want? Yes or no? Hopefully that will help you make the decisions. And then it doesn't really matter what box or shelf or bin you start with. How you declutter one area is how you declutter all areas. What I would suggest, though, is start with the areas that you live in most frequently so you can get the biggest bang for your buck. And you can practice decluttering in a space that when you're done, it looks and feels and functions better. Now, already I will say this. So again, my husband's decluttering. I can watch him. I'm doing like a live stream. I'm watching him. He's picking up this thing. He's putting it down. He's getting out outside. But it already looks so much better right now than it did earlier. It looks better to me, and I bet it feels better to him because he knows where this stuff is. It's tidy, things like that. So notice that it looks and feels and functions better even in a half hour of decluttering. Okay? Yeah, Ms. Crentis, please. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Perfectionism and all or nothing thinking are on this side of the equation, on this side. They will get you stuck in the mud. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. So don't aim for it because you'll never get there and you're aiming for something that doesn't exist. What you're looking for is better. Does this room look better than it did when I started? The answer is yes. That's going to encourage you. It's going to encourage you to show up the next time to do the next wave of it. Like we were down here earlier this week. What was it? I don't even know what day it is. It's Monday. Today's Monday? Yeah, we were down here this weekend and we did a little bit and then it was not that bad, so we came back again. It looks markedly better than it did the first time we came down on Saturday, and it's going to look even better at 4 o'clock when I sign off. So just notice that stuff. Perfection, meh. Discard that. Get that in the trash and go for better. Better, 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 better. Better is better. Okay? AJ is saying, what was the time frame you choose for this task? Here, set your own time frame. Here's an interesting thing. If we have a goal to hit, like we're inviting people over, like for example, my husband occasionally will invite his musician friends over to record. And so if we know somebody's coming over by a certain date, boy, howdy, do we step it up to say, we want this place to look and feel and function. We want it to look good and function well when this person is over. And I also want to feel good that it looks good. So it depends on what you've got going on. Today, for example, you can change. Here's the great thing. Remember earlier, maybe you didn't, if you just tuned in. Hi, Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach, here for another 21 minutes. Notice how time is passing, but here's the cool thing, is things are looking better up down here. Is that, now I totally lost my train of thought, is time frames. Time frames can change from day to day. You know what you have? You are not a robot. Thread, or earlier I said I do not coach robots, which is good. That's why you check it off when you sign my mailing list. You're not a robot. You're a human being. Every day, the amount of time and the amount of energy and the amount of mental bandwidth you have is going to vary. It's like getting on the scale. in weighing that. How much time and energy and mental bandwidth do I have today? And then matching that with what you want to accomplish. That's going to encourage you to, I would even say, like, minimize your expectations so that if you get them and you go over them, you feel like a rock star, versus saying I'm going to do this much and not getting it and feeling kind of bummed out that you didn't make it to the end. Remember to, yes, thank you. If I can leave a room just a little bit better, says S. Carol, I'm happy. It's not ever going to be perfect, but better feels better. And yes, remember to celebrate the small victories. I would much rather you lower your expectations and reach that, and then anything above it, you feel like a rock star, versus aiming too high and then feeling like a loser because you're emphasizing what you didn't do as opposed to what you did do. Yes, okay, you want to feel like a rock star? Do that. Set your timer. Here's what you do. You play games with your brain and you have some fun with it. You say, instead of an hour of decluttering, I'm going to do a half hour of decluttering, and I'm going to start my timer with 15 minutes. I do 15 minutes. The timer goes off. I congratulate myself. I give myself a Liz Lemon high five. And then I go do another 15 minutes, and then another 15 minutes, and another 15 minutes. That's when you feel good about doing it, and you will be more likely to return to the decluttering when it doesn't seem as bad as you thought it was going to be. When you look back at the hour of decluttering and saying, oh, that wasn't that bad. I bet I could show up again and do that and make myself even better. So notice that. Okay. Oh, funny. I love this. Katie from Indiana, right? It's almost impossible to just sit and listen to you. Put away all my laundry while listening. I love that there's this Pavlov's puppy response to my voice and what I do, because notice when you have an encouraging voice in your head, hopefully it doesn't have this wacky Boston accent like I do, but notice that when you have some encouragement, when you have a better mindset, when you have a better words in your head, it makes you feel like you can do stuff. And then you do, and it's not that bad because you're getting entertained. And hopefully it's enjoyable. And then by the end of this TikTok live that I'm doing for this next 20 or so minutes, your home is going to look better. Your laundry is away. What else can you do? I offer that to everybody. This is one of the reasons why I upload these TikTok lives recordings to Destination Decluttered on YouTube, is so people actually have requested. I enjoy listening to it. I listen to it like a podcast. I put it on when I'm decluttering. I get inspired, and then when I'm in an inspired thought and feeling, then I take action in the direction that I want to do. Okay? Notice that. And Mommy Salami says, sometimes I have none. If I minimize, I am in trouble. Notice that. Notice that feeling. Okay, and those words that you use, and maybe deconstruct them. See what's behind the stuff. Okay, Catherine is saying this weekend was learning, but good food was made and eaten. Baking bread today. I love it. That sounds awesome. AJ is asking if I go live often. I do. Again, much like not, I don't coach robots. I am not a robot myself. So each week of the year, I show up at different times doing TikTok lives. The cool thing is, though, I know what's important for me. If I like what somebody's doing, I want to be able to show up when they're doing it. I don't want to just randomly come across them. Though if I do, that is so much fun. When you discover something that changes, like opens up the world of possibility to you, that's really cool. So what I do is, AJ or anybody who's interested in me doing TikTok lives, go to the front page of my TikTok page. And if you haven't followed me, follow me, because that will give you an indicator when I go live, when I am live. But also at the very top, you know how there's like the three places where you can pin a video? Always the very first video is going to be a schedule of when I go live. So that's pinned to the top. However, I will say this too, is that the people on the TikTok mailing list will always know way before anybody else when I go live, so you can put it in your calendar. It's just kind of being cool. You know how it feels to be behind the scenes, to be like, oh yeah, I knew that. I don't know. Like, I always think that's kind of cool to have the insider skinny. So I do go live often. Like this week, for example, I'm live today. I will not be live on Wednesday because I'm doing the the Zoom call, the Destination Decluttered members only Zoom call. So if you're interested in attending that, all you need to do is get on my mailing list, destinationDecluttered.com/join. It's free. It's cool. It's like, I so don't pressure people into stuff because, God, I hate being sold to. I'm just letting you know it's there. And then I think it's Friday. I'll have to check my calendar to see when I do it. Cape Cod Red, yo, you're down the Cape. I love to see it. I remember what it was like to go down the Cape. I look forward to going back there myself sometime. So yay, well, I'm glad you're decluttering while listening also. That's wicked cool. What I want to offer is TikTok lives. Like this week I'm going, and I think it's Friday, and then next week I have to check, because here's the deal. I travel, I do consultations, and I have coaching. I do one-on-one coaching with people. I would love to talk more about that, but I don't want this to be totally salesy, but oh my God, I just love it. It helps people get to where it would help you. If you're stuck and you want the quickest way to get just unstuck and moving consistently and learning how to do it so that you don't need somebody helping you all the time, you just know how to do it yourself, one-on-one coaching will do that. If you're interested, get on my mailing list, get a consult. That's how it happens. Especially now before the holidays or during the holidays. Can you imagine what a difference it would be like this holiday season if you got support while you're going through the holidays, when you're unpacking a lot of these items that you probably have packed away for 3/4 of the year, and you're like, I don't know what to do with all this Christmas stuff. What do I do with all these plates? Oh my gosh, I have so much of this. Why did I save all these things? I can help you through that so that you feel better while you're doing it, and the next years and next years and next years feel so much better. Okay? So notice that. Okay? And Ms. Prentice, thank you for helping out. I love this. Every time I do a TikTok live, cool people just come out of the woodwork and hang around and help each other. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. If I wasn't helping you, I wouldn't be sitting here in my own basement encouraging my husband to declutter and to make it better, and just noticing what a difference it can make the short time that you're here. Okay? What else? What else can I talk about? I don't know. Hun, you struggling with anything clutter-wise?
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Here's the thing. Categorizing stuff. So for example, like I can't see him right now, but I know there's some stuff that I said, hey, could you deal with these things because it's kind of bugging me. Notice the stuff that bugs you and fix that. Because doesn't it feel nice to not be bugged? Like there was like a thing of a bunch of random pieces of little dribs and drabs, as I like to call them, nuts and bolts and things that got dumped out because he was looking for something to put away the stuff. Categorizing. Yeah, categorizing. Creating order out of chaos is my happy place. That's why when I run out of decluttering of my stuff, I'm like, hun, can we declutter you? Because I see some clutter around here. And the great thing is that I can see he's fixing some of his stuff. He's finding things that belong to him. And these will increase like the benefits of his life because he's going to be able to do stuff. Okay? Now, obviously, after this, he will probably be done, D-U-N done. I will be done. And then we'll go do something fun. Go for a walk. Congratulate ourselves on how much good that looks and things like that. So do it for a little bit of time. Congratulate yourself on what you did do. And then also notice, set yourself up for the next time. What are some other things you can do? Like, how can I make it easier so I can find the things that I need to make my life and job easier? What are the sentimental items that I'm saving because I want to do something with them? What's the next step for me doing it? Do I need to get that piece of equipment fixed? Do I need to get in touch with somebody if they want it? Do I need to look it up to see how much it's worth if I want to sell it? Do I need to reach out to somebody who used to own this thing to ask them if they want it back? Linda Garcia, you're asking, I declutter at work. How do I continue at home? First of all, you go home and you give yourself a break. You cut yourself some slack and you allow yourself transitioning to your own home. And notice the difference between being in an external environment that you show up for other people, show up for yourself, as well as you show up for other people. Do your decluttering at home because of you. You deserve to live in a decluttered environment because you know how much better it feels to you. Do it not for anybody else. I mean, it's cool. Honestly, my husband is like, yeah, whatever, here's my stuff. I can easily avoid it. He's doing this decluttering for me, which I thank you for, my dear. Okay? Because I can't make decisions on his stuff. But I also know that when he goes through these things, he's finding things that are making his life look and feel and function more easily. So, Linda, I would say this. When you go home, notice the places that make you feel ugh when you come home from work, and how do you want to feel when you come home from work? I bet you want to feel relaxed. You want to feel you want to feel like I'm going to kick off my shoes, take off my bra, relax, and I know where everything is, and my stuff isn't always talking at me. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. I love it. Mo Better Cookie says, used 20 minutes, decluttered my exercise room. Rock on. Okay? So just notice that. Wendy is saying, I used to be very organized at work, and I am very unorganized at home. Notice both of you. Notice everybody. What's my motivation? A lot of times we we are presenting a version of ourselves to external people when we really feel kind of cluttered up in the background. So know that you're doing, how about this? You are decluttering your own home, not because you have to, not because you're going to get in trouble if you don't, like it might be at work, but because you want to. I want to do this because when I do this, my home is going to look like I want it to. It's going to feel like I want it to. It's going to function like I want it to. Me, my home, and I want to feel awesome in it. I want to open up my door and breathe a sigh of relief when I'm home from work and I'm home. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel peace in my brain. I want to be able to easily locate the stuff that I need to make anything easy, whether it's, what to plug in somewhere or how to make something in the kitchen or where's that CD I want to listen to, whatever it is. Do it so it makes your life easier. Notice the habits you have. And a lot of being cluttered is simply habits. I was on a I did coaching this morning with a number of clients, and one of the things that came up was that you don't have problems. Problems is a judgy word for habits. You have habits that got you cluttered and continue to keep you cluttered. That is, the neat thing is about a problem is there's a solution to a problem. If you have a solution, if you got a problem, I'll solve it. Something, and let my DJ revolve it. Oh my God, I am once again channeling Vanilla Ice. But it's so true. If there's a problem, there is a solution. And then the neat thing is when there's a problem and there's a solution and they meet, whoosh, it disappears. There's no problem anymore. Check out the hook. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, if you got a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Oh my God, I'm probably somebody's wacky aunt. I know I am somebody's wacky aunt, but they love me. So anyhow, we've got 8 minutes left, you guys. 8 minutes. What I would love for you to do is just look around your home. If you're there, look around your head. What is something you can do today before you go to bed that's going to get your life even incrementally less cluttered than it is right now? Notice that. I did a TikTok live this morning, or not a live, I did a TikTok video when I was going like, oh, isn't this funny? I have gotten into the habit of taking out the clean dishes when I wait for my teacup. What is a habit that you have that gets you cluttered? Can you even, this is powerful, notice it and stop it, even just once. And here's a fun thing. I like to play. I'm always finding fun things about coaching, and I love this. Notice when you discover something, you go like, aha. Notice you're kind of pointing it up. Look, inspiration. Aha, I noticed this thing. I notice I put this thing down. I put my coat on the chair instead of putting it away. I'm going to stop doing that. I went from one finger to all of it. I put my traffic cop hand out, and I say, what I can do today is I can hang up my coat. What I can do today is I can put those dirty dishes, I can gather up all the dirty dishes from wherever they are in the house, and I can put them in the sink. What's another thing I could do? Oh, like for us, for example, tonight is trash and recycle night. After I get off of this TikTok live in 6 minutes, you only have 6 minutes left. Don't worry. And then we're going to go and we're going to break down these paper boxes and get the trash from here into the trash and recycles so that can be picked up tonight. Maybe that's a thing. We also have a load of laundry to throw in the washing machine, and we can throw that in the washing machine and then go out for a walk. Notice these different things, okay? Notice this. Okay. Blue Sky Nanny is saying, I have another adult who is a horrible slob. I'm thinking you meant slob, but I love slop too. I can't stand the piled clutter. She gets mad if I try. Okay, just notice this, everybody. What I want to notice is you are getting aggravated about her stuff, but she's the only one who can probably deal with her things. Try to practice staying in your own lane and dealing with your own clutter. Now, this is hard for me, I will admit. This is hard for me because when somebody else's clutter affects you, it can be a bit of a butting of heads. I look at my husband while I'm doing this because his clutter gets me aggravated. He has a higher tolerance for clutter than I do. So in areas that are of his room, he's got his room, and yeah, I'm probably going to be like, come on, can't we declutter your room? It's going to feel so much better, because I can be lovingly annoying like that. Right? Lovingly annoying? Lovingly? Blink, blink, blink. But what I want to suggest is, make sure that you're cool with your own clutter. Get your own act together. Practice decluttering, and when you realize how sometimes it's just habits that you didn't mean to piss somebody off, it just happened, and you can show up better for yourself, and if you come at it without as much judgment, too. Notice that. I'm not saying that you're judgy, but man, judgment gets in the way. The other day, I was being kind of like, I'm really aggravated, and when I realized I had to step out of judgment and into curiosity and love as to what this thing is, and I love my husband, so I'm like, okay, I want us to get along. So yes, we want to be cluttered. The other thing is too is to think about the areas with which you have common shared spaces. It is polite. And to me, anyway, this is how I was. It is, if you're sharing spaces with things, you can be messy in your own room, but the common areas should be cleaned for everybody to enjoy. So maybe have those kinds of conversations. Notice that all of this stuff I do is channeled through kind of my own unique perspective. Maybe it aligns with yours, maybe it doesn't. But hopefully a lot of this kind of connects so that in the next, when I sign off in 4 minutes, you'll have some things to think about, maybe in a new way. Oh my gosh, I almost went right into the end song from Mr. Rogers, who I love. But what I want to offer is, figure out your own stuff. What do you want that room to look like, and what can you do with your stuff to make that room even closer? Are there things that you could get better at when you are working on your own decluttering habits? Are there things that you don't know what to do with that maybe you could take a next step? Is there something that somebody might like that you have that you used to like that you don't anymore? Notice that, okay? Call Me Val says, my house is unfinished. Nowhere to put anything away. Living in it. Husband is a slow builder and help. Okay. Here's a couple of things. It's really hard to decorate and to live in a construction zone. So notice that you may need to temporarily get some plastic totes with covers and store them until you're able to have places to put things away. Okay, but also notice that your home is not going to be like that for forever, Val. So make it the best it can be for you in this situation, and know that it's going to change in the future. Okay, there we go. User 2473 Kath says, you just gave me an idea. Plastic shelves, 4 levels, just like those ones over there that somebody could be stacking up to put some of these things in here. Just saying it.
I'll do it.
All right. You see, you just gave me an idea, because we have a 4-shelf thing that I had broken down to when I was helping my sister. Now we're going to set it up so my husband can put some of his stuff in it. Kath is saying, put the junk on it right now. Going to use it temporarily for mom's stuff and antiques. And oh lordy, here you are as I deep clean a closet. I'm here for you, AJ, for and for Curtin. I'm always. I don't mean to mangle people's usernames, but gosh, they don't make it easy sometimes. Anyhow, thank you for the rose. This is awesome. Everybody, so we've got 2 minutes. I am very proud. Let me do this. This is what I would do with you if I was in your house. I don't come to your house because God knows, doing my own decluttering here. But what I would say is, whatever you do decluttering makes it look better. I know that having watched my husband declutter down here, does it look perfect? No. That's good, because we're not going for perfect. But man, does it look better? And I bet it feels better for him, because he knows now more where some things are. Now I'm going to sign off, and we're going to break down some boxes and set up some shelves to tidy up here. And then we're going to punch the clock, take a walk, do some yoga, maybe go to the movies, and know that we didn't have to spend the entire day here. A little bit helps, and it looks better and feels better. And then we're going to figure out a time to do it again and again until it feels just right. Okay? always a pleasure to tune in here. I will give you one last info if you're just tuning in. Destination Decluttered. I'm a decluttering life coach. My name is Beth. And if you're interested, I do other TikTok lives. I also do one-on-one coaching. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I do it via Zoom. I have a 10-week package. You can start this week, have support during the holidays. If you're interested in joining in on the Destination Decluttered free Zoom call, that happens this Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hop onto the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com/join. And remember, when you sign up, you check a thing that says, I am not a robot, which is good because I don't coach robots. I coach humans because I am a human. And the way we get through things is remembering we are humans while we do this. So, that being said, Call Me Val says, thank you so much. I'm a new fan of yours. I need you. Here I am. Val, I'll just let you know this and a couple of people. There are tons of TikTok videos that I do pretty much daily, every other day. Again, I'm a human, so I don't show up all the time like a regimented machine, right? But also, if you're interested in any of my backlog, that sounds bad, but the back catalog, that sounds better, of TikTok lives, of people say it helps them to listen to them like a podcast or something as they're walking around their house decluttering. Destination Decluttered on YouTube is where this one will be downloaded and then uploaded. Like this will download this one and upload this one later this evening. And there are plenty of them there too. So you can find out more about what I do. And I'm really here to do two things, is to help you decrease the overwhelm and then go from stuck to started, so you're leading in the direction of your destination decluttered. All right, Val, I look forward to seeing you on YouTube, everybody. I'm going to go break down some boxes with my husband, and thank you for joining us as he decluttered our basement. I will see you guys, I guess, on here on TikTok, not till Friday, but I look forward to seeing any of you who are going to show up on Wednesday night on the members-only Zoom, okay? I will see you, and thank you so much for the gifts and badges and things. Always a pleasure to meet new people and say hello to friendly faces, okay?